Welcome back, Canonites. Just when I was starting to wonder if the live action train had already ended for Halo Infinite, 343 dropped 2 new trailers and a new marketing site. Naturally, we'll break it all down. And of course, I won't mention any spoilers for the campaign. We are just talking about these trailers, don't you worry. Now, starting things off, we have a trailer called Forever We Fight, which essentially shows individuals throughout history taking up arms to fight back against invaders. The first of these is set in the distant past, a lone shepherd checking his flock at the night. From the darkness, wolves emerge, and the shepherd prepares to defend his flock and family. We next flash forward to what looks to be France during, I assume, World War II, a local helping a wounded soldier into his home as battle rages around them. As the man, a doctor presumably, tries to treat the soldier, his wife takes up arms to defend them. Skipping forward again, we find a Coast Guardsman performing a rescue, though this isn't exactly present day. Above, what I can only describe as a Coast Guard Falcon circles, providing light and a lifeline. As the clip comes to an end though, we hear warning klaxons as if the bird might fall out of the sky. The next skip forward is probably my favorite section, at least as it relates to the lore. An unidentified astronaut is preparing to run a scale test with the Shaw Fujikawa Translite engine.
Fujikawa Translite scale test commencing in 3.
aka humanity's slipspace technology. The human translite engine was developed, as you may have guessed, by Drs. Tobias Fleming Shaw and Wallace Fujikawa, and unveiled in 2291. The pair were awarded the Nobel Prize and would change the course of human history forever. In 2362, 71 years later, humanity would begin to spread beyond its solar system. Here we get to see one of the early tests of slipspace travel, sometime between 2291 and 2362. One detail I absolutely love is that the craft they're testing looks nothing like normal UNSC technology, or rather, doesn't have a direct resemblance to anything specific that we might recognize from Halo. I just love seeing other designs in the Halo universe beyond the familiar. I also really love the distinct look of this wormhole into slipspace, almost looking violent and angry, reflecting just how early these tests are. For a little context, human slipspace travel uses a relatively quote-unquote violent method, essentially forcibly tearing into the fabric of space-time and tunneling into slipspace. Covenant technology, on the other hand, is far more refined, allowing them to basically make a small incision in space-time and slip, so to speak, into slipstream space, or slipspace for short. Incidentally, this allowed the Covenant to make precision jumps, something humanity was only capable of doing after the Human-Covenant War ended. So, in my mind, the reason this slipspace opening looks so violent or angry, again so to speak, is because this is an even earlier version of the human slipspace drive than we typically see. Anyway though, we again skip forward, finally to something familiar to the average Halo fan, as a Hornet is shot down over a farm on an unknown world. This could be, and likely is, during the Human-Covenant War, but it could equally be set during the Insurrection. And that's my personal headcanon until we hear a hard confirmation the other way. After the crash though, a UNSC Marine runs to save the pilot, and to my surprise and delight, they're wearing the H2A/Halo Wars 2 style gear. Finally, we come to the Master Chief on Zeta Halo, the current conflict of the Halo universe. As the Chief jumps into battle, the scene cuts between him and the other individuals we've seen, reflecting how humanity has continually risen to the challenge, to fight its oppressors and overcome them, just as we'll see the Chief do once again in Halo Infinite. While there isn't much more to really dig into with the first trailer, a second trailer dropped today, Carry On, showing us an extended version of the Chief's fight. Jumping into battle, the Chief engages with a pair of brutes, one wielding a skewer, the other a shock rifle. He steals a spike grenade from one to stick the other, then moves on to the next battle. Soon, however, he's encountered by Tavares, a member of the Hand of Atriox and a Spartan killer. We recently got to see a full in-game render of him thanks to 343. There's not much to break down in this fight, it's largely there to build hype, though I do love how the Chief steals Tavares' gravity hammer and uses it against him. I also really have to praise just how damn good Tavares, and the other brutes for that matter, look in this short commercial. The effects work here is just fantastic. Finally though, accompanying these commercials is a new marketing site, one where fans can upload a picture and become the Master Chief. It reminds me a lot of the old Halo CE Anniversary Living Monument ad campaign, which also allowed people to insert pictures of themselves and their names into a version of that commercial. I sadly don't have the footage of that, but believe me, it was dope, and honestly, so is this. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I'm sorry there isn't more to say here, I can't exactly make deeper speculations on the story at this point, but I hope you all found the breakdown of the lore within these trailers to be interesting enough. Look forward to the Halo Monthly Recap in a few days, and more Halo Infinite content as we approach and come to launch. Stick around for the Patreon shoutout, and as always, this has been Halo Canon. First, I'd like to give a big thank you to our Horospus patrons. First, there's Hope, then we have Freight, Discombobulated Sycophant, Man in the Dark, Keisha Dila, Daddy Anarchy, Great Scott Productions, Jumpy Sucks Balls, and Lone Ronin 117. Thank you all for your amazing support of the channel. Next, I'd like to thank our theoretical patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or get a direct shout out, check out patreon.com/HaloCanon. You can simply support the channel or get additional benefits such as behind the scenes materials, including raw audio for upcoming videos, or even shoutouts like this. All patrons now get early access to certain videos as well, and more benefits are to come. However, your continued viewership is more than enough for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and maybe even subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If you really enjoy this, turn on that notification bell so you can be among the first to see new videos when they release. But for all my fellow Canonites, keep on being awesome.